Please turn in your transponders. I'm going to turn things over to this fine gentleman from the Smart Modified Tour and let him have at it.
Real quick, right down here. Y'all ready for some modified racing, race fans? Why did these people say yeah, none of them did? Where's that mean man at? Where's that lady at? I see you. You ready? You for Bobby Labonte? How many Bobby Labonte fans we got in the house? Everybody. Eric, where you at, brother?
I'm ready to roll, buddy. This is going to be a lot of fun. Happy you're going to be handling stuff trackside because we're going to get all these incredible fans here. This is a huge crowd. I mean, I have not seen this many spectators at an event like this in quite some time, and it's a holiday weekend, and it's a weekend that means so much to everybody here at this racetrack. In my research for tonight's Smart Modified event, learning all about Bobby Watson, learning how this track came to be, and then driving into the parking lot, walking over the pedestrian bridge into the pit area, I have never been so breathless about a particular facility, and there are many, many reasons why. From the lighting, the crew, the staff, the racetrack itself, their desire and initiative to try to make the racing as best as humanly possible, as well as the talent who many of you have been able to listen to all throughout the night to keep you up to date and informed. This is an A-plus facility from top to bottom, and we're happy to bring our hot and heavy 600 horsepower modifieds to you and to all of our friends who are watching on Speed51.tv. Now, as the field gets set to roll off, we're actually going to bring them around onto the main straightaway. We will stop them on the front stretch. I'll end up turning things over to Chris Carter, who will be track, and we will lead into the start of what is the 7th race of the 2021 Smart Modified season. So far, in the first 6 races, we've had 6 different winners. A number of them are in tonight's field. Some of them are not. John Smith, who is tied for the championship point lead, went to victory lane earlier in the season. Of course, Bob Labonte trying to become not only the first repeat winner in 2021, but also the first driver to go back-to-back in Smart Modified competition. Gary Putnam won earlier, in fact 2 rounds ago at Caraway back in July. Young rookie Caleb Petty, who started in legend car competition, moved up to a modified for Tommy Baldwin Racing, took home top honors in our 2nd race of the season. Ryan Priest won at South Boston, and Matt Hirschman kicked things off for us at our season opener at Caraway when we kicked off our 2021 season. I don't think anybody would have ever imagined, with a field albeit this deep, this talented, this well populated, that we would be on such a streak as we were with pole winners. And that streak continued after Brandon Ward set what we're dubbing as an unofficial track record. Only one modified race, tour type modified race that is, has been held here before. That was won by Cale Gale back when this racetrack opened in 2015. So now we're going to see who will add their name as the list of a winner at the Carteret County Speedway once we wrap up this 99-lapper for the Smart Chevrolet 99. Before the field comes on the main straightaway, let's take this opportunity to talk about Smart Chevrolet, who's been our premier sponsor for most of our races this season. Smart Chevrolet and Body Shop has been your North Carolina dealer, providing high-quality new and used vehicles since 1986. You can check out their showroom in Madison, North Carolina, or visit them on the web at smartchevrolet.com. That's Smart Chevrolet, proud sponsor of tonight's running of the Smart Chevrolet 99 at Carteret County Speedway. We will wait for the last couple of cars to make their way on the main straightaway. And Chris Carter, as he has been all night, is on the ready to help you fans get involved in the action tonight to kick off what many of you have come to see. Some of you may have traveled from not too far from the racetrack. Some of you may have come a long way. But the chatter throughout the grandstands was the excitement for this. I see a number of fans with their phones out capturing the moment, and they will shut off the engines on the main straightaway, and our chief officials will position themselves to where they need to be to execute tonight's event. And I'm going to throw it down trackside to Chris Carter. Now that we've got all the engines silenced, Chris, take it away, buddy.
Hey, there I am. All right, race fans, y'all have been amazing. I've done said it 112 times. I'm going to say it 113. I need everybody that can hear my voice. We're going to do something tonight. I need you to work with me, okay? Y'all know the drill. We want to let these guys start their engines. So when everybody up on your feet. Come on, get up on your feet. I need everybody on your feet. One more time. Y'all ready for some modifieds? One more time, make it louder. Are you ready for some modified? On the count of 3. You know what to say. Drivers, start your engines on 3. 1, 2, 3.
That is how it's done. What a job by Chris Carter. What a job by everybody at the Carteret County Speedway. And what a crowd. And we haven't even seen the green flag yet. Our chief starter, J.B. Cole, is positioned up at the flag stand. He's going to be the one responsible for getting this race underway. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. We mentioned earlier in qualifying that Brandon Ward set the quick time. However, by virtue of a redraw, he's going to start back on the inside of row number 2. It's going to be James Savali in the number 79 in the Hillbilly Racing entry, leading us down from pole with last week's winner, Bobby Labonte, starting outside in the Cookout 25. Brandon Ward, the quick time setter, is going to roll off inside of row number 2. Outside is going to be that of Burt Myers, who has been so strong this season, third in points, trying to battle back after being caught up in a crash last week at Dillon. Inside of row number 3, it's going to be a car that we dubbed the All-Star Machine. Buddy Ellis owned number 24. Tonight, it's Jonathan Brown going to roll off in 5th. Outside, the number 55 of Jeremy Gerster. He was 3rd fastest in qualifying and will start this race in 6th. Back down to the inside of row number 4. It is the other point leader, one of the co-point leaders, I should say, coming into the night. Winner at Franklin County, John Smith is going to line up the 19 car inside of row 4. Outside is going to be that of Brian Weber in the 76. Brian Lofton in the 15 starts in 9th. Outside, point leader Jason Myers in the 4. And rounding out the rest of our field, the 07 of Dennis Holdren, the 22 of Jimmy Wallace, and the 6 machine. Tonight driven by a driver who is in the field for the first time in his 2021 season. In fact, he is a driver who caught a lot of attention. We're happy to have him here in the field this evening, and he's looking to have a lot of fun here. What was a last-minute addition to the field, and that number 6 is Marty Edwards, rounding out our 13-car field. Now, if you're new to racing for the Smart Modified Series, one thing you have to consider is the fact that we do have a Jerry Hunt Super Center stage break. At lap 30, we'll see the yellow flag as well as the orange and white checkered flag. And that will be a $300 bump to the driver leading. It also awards some championship points. Top 3 get paid out, and it opens the door for some very interesting pit strategy. We do have our pit stalls boxed out and placed on the front straightaway. These drivers have just one sticker tire available at their disposal. They can do a little bit of trickery, though. There is an opportunity perhaps to swap left side tires should they choose so. We've seen a lot of strategy deployed so far throughout this season. However, this racetrack, only 6 years of age, we're not quite sure how these tires are going to be able to withstand this 0.4 of a mile oval, and if we will see drivers try to gamble and perhaps go the whole distance. We'll tell you more about that later on, but right now our chief starter at J.B. Cole is going to signal 1 lap to go before we set him loose. For those of you who may be watching on Speed51.tv, if you cannot tell, it is loud. 13 600-plus horsepower cars here in the announcer's tower. We're right in the mix of the action above the start-finish line, and we're able to hear, see, and smell all that is about to take place with these beautiful works of machinery that provide some of the most thrilling racing you will see in the country. 7th time this season, the Smart Chevrolet 99 is about to go green. It's down 21. James Savali and Bobby Labonte bring us down to the start. The jump on the bottom is going to go to Savali. He goes out to the lead in P1 by about a car length over last week's winner, Labonte, who will tuck in line behind him. A couple of cars trying to work the outside as they complete lap 1. And for the lead, Bobby Labonte inside of James Savali for the top spot as they come off turn 2. Labonte on the bottom, Savali trying to work the top. Here he comes around the outside. Labonte will take the spot away. And the crowd is loving the fact that Labonte has gone to P1 this early in the race. While these drivers are battling for the lead, Marty Edwards has pulled that car off. He will only get 1 lap in. in his modified debut for 2021. Labonte clear to the lead. Brandon Ward trying to move his way up. He currently rides in third. He's picked up no spots so far, but he's being hounded by Burt Myers, who is working the top side of the racetrack. It should be noted that there was a practice session held here yesterday, and a number of drivers took part. Since then, though, the track did add a little bit of traction compound to that top lane that Savali's trying to work on the outside of turn 4. So far, we haven't seen anybody be able to make that line work just yet, as Savali is trying to fend off Brandon Ward in a race for second. Savali's doing everything he can to try to get that top lane to come in, but to no avail. Savali's going to fall back at least to third, maybe fourth here as he in the back straightaway, as Burt Myers made the pass as well. Labonte clearly out in front at this juncture, while Savali continues to try to stop his plummet to the field. Couple of newcomers coming into that fight so far. Savali trying to fend off Jonathan Brown, who's in the mix tonight. Gerstner, 6th. Smith, 7th. Brian Lofton, Jason Myers, your top 9, with Holdren rounding out your top 10. We talked about the drivers who were tied for the championship points lead coming into tonight. Jason Myers was one of them. John Smith the other. So far their nights are unfolding a little bit differently. Myers starting to work the high side, making his way around a couple of cars to the bottom portion of the top 10, while Smith is trying to work the low side to keep getting by Savali. Matter of fact, John Smith had a big bobble there. Not that long ago, he was up there in the mix of the top 5. He's fallen back now to 9th spot. So I'm not sure if Smith is perhaps trying to save some of his stuff while the fight for second begins to intensify between that of Brandon Ward, the quick time setter, and Burt Myers in third. And while it may not require bringing up, we will anyway for those of you who are watching all around the country on Speed 51 TV. Let's not forget, there is a little bit of history here between these two. It happened back on the season finale at Bowman Gray Stadium between Brandon Ward and Burt Myers. Saw a little bit of a nudge from Myers to Ward that time 2 laps ago here as they continue to ride second and third. It doesn't appear that any animosity is going to carry over, but for right now they are in a heavy duel for second spot, nearly 3 seconds back of Labonte. The slide by Savali has pushed him back to fourth, while Jonathan Brown holds 5th. Gerstner in that same pack as we inch closer to that caution flag that is going to come about 15 laps from now. Bobby Labonte trying to do all that is possible to grab what would be a stage win for him, and he is someone who is trying to climb up through the points despite missing the race in July. Remember, Bobby Labonte was involved in the Superstar Racing experience. He committed to running all the races there on the events that you were able to see on CBS Sports. And the night of our July 3rd race at Caraway, he was at O'Reilly or Indianapolis Raceway Park, as a matter of fact. So, despite missing a race, Labonte is 5th in points, trying to make up some ground if at all possible. By going out here and winning this stage, and possibly his second race in a row as he comes up on the back of a lap car in Brian Weber, that is exactly what Labonte needs to make happen. And Labonte continues to extend that margin at the front of the pack. Last time around, Labonte was up by, make that 3 seconds over Brandon Ward and Burt Myers. Savali, Brown continue to round out your top 5 as everybody's kind of gotten into a little bit of a rhythm here with Savali and Brown having to go a bit now in a race for 4th. Brown using the bottom, Savali hunting the top side as they come around turns 1 and 2. With Gerstner locked in the tire tracks of Jonathan Brown on the bottom side. It's Savali in the 79, Jonathan Brown the 24, Jeremy Gerstner the 55. All kind of knotted together there for 4th on back. Labonte continuing to click off laps here at the front of the pack. Ward and Myers have settled out their race for that second spot. Field now coming up on the back of Brian Weber, the lap car. He's going to get in the mix of this race for fourth on back. Savali gets clear. Brown gets clear. Gerster clear as well. Jason Myers coming through on the bottom to get around Weber with Brian Lofton coming in tow. And in just about 6 laps time, as Labonte puts another lap on the board, we will be seeing that orange and white checkered flag to indicate the end of the Jerry Hunt Supercenter Stage Break. This has been pretty typical for a lot of our small modified races in 2021. A lot of drivers being smart in the early going before things could perhaps get physical when the pay window starts to open. Labonte trying to capture the stage win, second and third, also going to be able to get into position to cash in on their positions in second and third. While the race for fourth continues to be the heaviest on the racetrack as of right now. Everybody being able to mind their manners. Time being, as we're a couple of laps away from seeing things come to a brief pause with Labonte leading at the line. And Burt Myers has made the move and gotten around Brandon Ward for second. So Myers trying to put an extra $100 in the pocket there, as that spot is going to pay out $200 at the end of the stage. Ward back to third. Savali getting the back bumper. Rooted and gouged a little bit from Jonathan Brown. This time by Bobby Labonte, who comes down the back straightaway and off of turn number 4 is going to win the Jerry Hunt Supercenter stage. Labonte first at the line, Myers second, Brandon Ward third. As the rest of the field hits the line, we will see the yellow lights displayed. Bobby Labonte captures the Jerry Hunt Supercenter stage win. He'll get a few championship points and $300 by virtue of his success early in the first 30 laps of this race. Labonte, Burt Myers, and Brandon Ward all cashing in on the opportunity to lay claim to some extra dollars in the pocket, with Ward taking home the final cash-paying spot, $100 cash going to he and that team. This caution is going to provide an opportunity to see if any team is going to elect to come down and stop. We talked a little bit in the pre-race about pit strategy. There is one sticker tire in the pits for all of these drivers. That actually played a huge role in who went home with the trophy last week at Dillon Motor Speedway. Bobby Labonte pitted late, and we're starting to see some moves by some of the heavy hitters. Jason Myers down in the pit lane for his service.
Jason Myers, Eric, he's in here getting left side tires. Once again, Jason Myers taking on left side tires. Let's see if anybody else. Also, right over here in the number 22, Jimmy Wallace. Left side tires as well. Jason Myers, he's going to be off and rolling. Waiting on race leader Bobby Labonte to see if he's even going to come in. We got 2 cars taking on left side tires so far.
Chris Carter down trackside giving us all the news and information we need to hear after these pit stops took place. Jason Myers, one of the first drivers to come down on the stage break, was struggling a little bit with perhaps getting up through the field. However, he worked his way up to 7th early in the going. So Myers, who, as we mentioned, is one of the drivers tied for the championship point lead coming into tonight's race, did a nice job working himself up through the pack while the work continues on the 76 of Brian Weber's car. Whoever was one of the first cars to go a lap down in tonight's race, and that team is working feverishly as we are getting set to hit the line here, and we will see for the first time tonight the Citrus Safe Choose Cone. Just like you see at other forms of major motorsports, the drivers will have the option to choose inside or outside. Citrus Safe, one of the premier partners of the Smart Modified Tour. You can find their products in multiple stores like that of Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and Menards. Be sure to check them out for all your grill cleaning needs or on the web. That's Citrus Safe, proud sponsor of the Smart Modified Tour Choose Cone. Field's going to come to the line here, doubled up after the choose cone opportunity with Bobby Labonte selecting the inside, Burt Myers the outside. Then it'll be Brandon Ward right where he started. James Savali's going to roll off in fourth. Jonathan Brown, Jeremy Gerstner, row 3. And then he got to drop back to find Brian Lofton alongside of what looks to be that of the 07 of Dennis Holdred. Field's going to be coming around to the Fatheads restart zone. This time, 30 laps complete. We're going to be running to the end of lap number 99. The Smart Chevrolet Pace Truck will make its way onto pit road. The field is back in the hands of Bobby Labonte. As we get set to get this race back underway, Labonte and Burt Myers bring us back down to the restart. Myers trying to make that top side work off of turn 2. Going to slide in the second spot. The outside lane was good for James Savali, and he's not done. Ripping around the top comes Savali. Savali taking advantage of some of that traction compound that was laid in the corners of the outside groove, and he made it work. He's up 2. And since getting up to and past, Burt Myers is now trying to chase down Bobby Labonte, who has been the dominant here this evening. And Labonte has been so good with opening up the gap here early in this race. Behind him, a pack raging for second spot with Savali holding the runner-up position for now. Myers riding there in car 1 in third. Brandon Ward 4th. Jeremy Gerstner your top 5. John Smith in the 19 has worked his way up through the pack since the restart. He's up to 7th. Brian Lofton rides in 8th. Jason Myers, after stopping on the caution, is running in 9th, while Jimmy Wallace rounds out your top 10. Was talking to John Smith a little bit in the lead up to this race about how things are going to unfold here tonight. And he mentioned the fact that this is a place that doesn't really give you an opportunity to take a breather. He said even though the straightaways here do seem a little bit long, you're working the car constantly. He's doing everything possible to try to keep himself in contention tonight and walk out of here with maybe another victory or the sole possession of the points lead. In fact, he is 1 spot to the good on the driver who he was tied with in the standings in Jason Myers. They currently run 8th and 9th respectively, with Labonte continuing to parade the field. Here we have 60 laps to go. The Smart Chevrolet 99 here at Carteret County. This, as we mentioned, the 7th race of the season. After this one, teams are going to go home, pack up, and get set to hit Caraway 1 week from tonight. In fact, 6 days from tonight on Saturday, September 11th. And then we'll wrap up this 4-race-in-a-row stretch at Dominion Raceway on September 18th. So we've kicked this series in a high gear, and it appears as though that Bobby decided it's his time to shine. The gap back to Savali, who is riding in second, 1.5 seconds before you get to Burt Myers and Brandon Ward, with Gert rounding out your top 5. The topic of conversation involving passing was something that many drivers had on their mind. They weren't quite sure if they were going to be able to put together a masterful effort to get up through the field. So far, we saw Savali take advantage of the outside lane on the restart, got him up in second. And everybody so far minding their manners, and you have to wonder what is the agenda for all these drivers working their way through the latter stages of this race. The fact that it was hard to determine tire degradation for this race. Remember, these teams are only able to purchase 5 tires on the Smart Modified event. The 4 they bolt on for qualifying, plus 1 change tire, and that's it. Due to the ongoing Hoosier tire shortage, they haven't been able to purchase extra tires for practice. So these drivers have been learning the ropes of this unique track pretty much on the fly with whatever scuffs they've been able to use throughout the practice sessions leading up to the race. Battle for third starting to intensify as Burt Myers is falling back into the clutches of Brandon Ward and Jeremy Gerstner. Talked to Brandon Ward a little bit on the pre-race leading up to tonight's main event. And he said that this was the track where he felt ultra confident. And that car has been on a little bit of a roll. 2 races back, Joey Coulter, who's part owner in this team, finished third at Caraway. Last time out, Brandon Ward ended up the runner-up in this machine at our last race that was held at Dillon, and thought that possibly he could be the 7th different winner in the first 7 races, but Bobby Labonte is outright dominating so far tonight. With 50 laps in the books, let's take a look at how the field is running at this point in the race. Bobby Labonte, the leader. James Savali riding second. Burt Myers third. Brandon Ward fourth. Jeremy Gerstner fifth. Jonathan Brown sixth. Brian Lofton seventh. Jason Myers eighth. He's gotten up and around John Smith. That's a pivotal pass in terms of the championship. While Jimmy Wallace rounds out your top 10. Though the last few laps has been a little bit quicker than that of Bobby Labonte, and is starting to close in on what could be a battle for the lead. Burt Myers has sole possession of third, and a 3-car battle behind him between Ward, Gerstner, and Jonathan Brown. Last time around, it was kicked up in Bobby Labonte's favor to 1.3 seconds. And that time, he was even 0.3 of a second faster. So Labonte may have took a little bit of a breather there to allow himself and the tires an opportunity to cool off. And now he's started to open up the gap yet again. Jonathan Brown has fallen off the backside of Jeremy Gerstner, who continues to pressure Brandon Ward for fourth. And that is the best battle on the racetrack for now. Brian Weber goes a lap down to the leaders after going way high up the racetrack that time off turn 4. Further back, Jason Myers trying to make some noise. He's starting to close up on Brian Lofton in what is going to be a race for 7th position. Saw Myers bring that car down to the pit lane. They paid attention to the left side of that car, and he has been making some moves through the pack. And he's working the bottom side here, Brian Weber, and trying to get up to the back bumper of Brian Lofton. While Labonte continues to check out, with the lead now over 2 seconds, the battle for second is starting to intensify. Burt Myers is starting to reel in James Savali in that race for second spot. Gerstner tries to get a drive up to the backside of Brandon Ward, but to no avail. That's the tussle for fourth. Boy, Gerstner is working top side, low side, high and low on Brandon Ward off of turn 2. So far, though, Gerstner's not been able to get the pass made. Just kind of stuck, despite the flashes of brilliance and speed that we've seen out of that race car. At the line, 35 laps to go on Bobby Labonte. Here's it out over second. Burt Myers on the front straightaway, inside of James Savali for the second spot. And Myers takes the spot away. Now what can he do with the 2.3 second gap that Bobby Labonte has got to make up? Myers to second, Savali back to third. Brandon Ward trying to close in and see what he can do with the driver who holds down the third spot for now. Now Brandon Ward working the low side on Savali. He's got the pass made. Move Brandon Ward up into third position. Last time through, Burt Myers was a tenth of a second faster than that of Bobby Labonte. However, Labonte was negotiating lap traffic. Now Jeremy Gerstner using the top side of the racetrack to get around Savali. Savali may have used up his stuff here early in this one because he's starting to fall back to the field. After Labonte cleared the lap car. Notice by the position of our broadcast booth, Labonte lifting very early getting into the quarter compared to the competition. But last time through, Burt Myers was faster yet, another 0.3 of a second. Team's going to do as far as pit strategy. So far, we're going to wave Brian Weber around to give him an opportunity to get back on the lead lap. Labonte and his team will be the first ones to make the decision as to what they want to do. There was a lot of work that went into boxing out the pit spaces properly and fairly for everyone to have a clean and safe opportunity to come down for service. Looks as though Brian Weber is going to jump the gun here and come down for a stop. And we await the rest of the field. Labonte will be the first one to lead him to the opening. Let's see what they decide to do. It looks as though Chris Carter, pit lane, is going to be a very busy place as here comes everybody.
Here they come, race fans. Bobby Labonte's team is hard at work. They got the right side jacked up. Looks like they're going to build a brand new right side tire, rear tire, on that number 25. Same thing for Burt Myers. Right side new tire. Jason Myers also getting a right side. Jonathan Brown. All these guys. Now they're going on left side tires on the number 25 of Bobby Labonte. And there's something wrong with the air gun on the number 25. We have a problem with the air gun on the number 25 of Bobby Labonte on the left front. Issues for the 25. Got the car down, and off he goes.
Thank you very much, Chris Carter. Amazing job down there trackside, helping us out as there was a lot to unpack with that round of pit stops, and that's going to shuffle up the running order here with just 28 laps to go. A driver who looked as though his team was already was Jeremy Gerstner. He is the first car out behind the Smart Chevrolet Pace truck and may very well be the one leading us back for the restart here in just a moment. I want to take this opportunity to shout out Fatheads. Fatheads Eyewear is our Restart Zone sponsor, which these drivers are about to encounter for just the second time tonight. Fatheads Eyewear not only sponsors our Restart Zone, but they are also offering a new promo for some of you race fans. Check out their website. Use the promo code SMART, S-M-A-R-T, to receive 40% off your Fathead Eyewear purchase. Another stop for John Smith, one of the point leaders coming into tonight's races. He came down for a second time. And we'll have to restart at the tail of the field. The CitraSafe Juice Cone is on the center of the front straightaway. Let's see where these drivers elect to line up for the upcoming restart. Gerstner on the bottom. Jonathan Brown going to restart up top in second spot. What a night for Jason Myers. Had to start at the tail end of the field, pitted on the first caution, and is now running in third for this restart that is about to come in a lap and a half's time. So Jason Myers going to restart inside of row number 2, outside, as the field makes their way here through 3 and 4 after that CitraSafe Juice Cone was on the main straightaway. Outside of Myers is going to be that of Brian Lofton. So the top 4 cars all looking for an opportunity to become the 7th different winner in the 2021 season. As for the drivers who set the pace in the race earlier, Bobby Labonte is going to line up in 5th, Brandon Ward 6th, with only 28 laps to try to get back to the front. Dennis Holdren trying to catch up to the tail end of the field while the leaders are on the back straightaway. 28 laps to settle it here at Carteret County. New front runners going to lead us down to the Fatheads Restart Zone. Jeremy Gerstner and Jonathan Brown. Here we go. Green flag is back out. Brown trying to work the top side on Gerstner for the lead off turn 2. And Brown's got the edge. Gerstner tries to send it in there on the bottom as they're side by side for the lead off 4. Gerstner on the bottom. Brown making a top side work as Savali's up the track in turn 2. Savali loses a bunch of spots. Gerstner powering back on the inside. Gerstner back to the point. Jeremy Gerstner, the crew chief, driver, owner, operator of GMR Motorsports, out in front of the field. Labonte trying to get back up towards the front. He's on the inside of Brian Lofton. Jason Myers trapped up top, losing a spot there to Brother Bird on the inside. Myers has not had the restart he would have been hoping for after starting up in the first 2 rows. Jason Myers now in danger of falling back into the clutches of his championship points combatant in John Smith. Burr Myers not done yet. He just got around Brian Lofton as Jason Myers gets back to the bottom. They run side by side through 1 and 2. All the while, Jeremy Gerstner is opening up a bit of an advantage here in what's turning into a 3-car race for second. Jonathan Brown trying to get up there. He's running in second spot with Brandon Ward and Bobby Labonte chasing. Labonte sends it in, can't get underneath Ward. Gerstner loving the fact this race is staying green. When he hits the line this time, it'll be 20 laps to go. Labonte kind of boxed in back here. Ward has not been able to get up and around the runner-up in Jonathan Brown right now. Things really starting to knot up here in that battle for second. Brown, Ward, Labonte, and then a gap back to Burr Myers, who has one of the fastest cars in the wall right now, and a caution is out. Second time tonight, James Savali has gone around in turn 4. Trouble for the EME Industries and Body Armor, number 79. For the Hillbilly Motorsports team, second time in turn 4. Savali has been backwards. Second time, it will slow the field and provide us for an interesting opportunity at yet another restart. Not sure we're going to see the group of cars come down to the pit lane like we did the last time the yellow flag was displayed. Savali's crew getting ready to service that car for the second time after he fell down the running order. And the free pass is going to go to Brian Weber. So the pit road is still closed on the far side of the racetrack. We see the red flag still being displayed there in turn 3. So the opportunity to stop is going to present itself next time through, and we'll see what these drivers elect to do. These drivers are vying for one of the most unique trophies in all of motorsports, especially in short track racing. Smarty. Friends at Jostens did a great job in fabricating this incredible piece of artwork, which Bobby Labonte and Gary Putnam have been able to take home by virtue of their wins the last 2 races of the season. If you haven't gotten a look at it yet, check out the Smart Modified Tour social media outlets. You will see how this trophy that was truly meant to embody the characteristics of some of the greatest modified and short track racers of our time. You can actually see certain characteristics of some of the legends like a Richie Evans or Charlie Dazonback and so on and so forth. But pit road is going to be a busy place here. We may not be done yet in seeing how this race is going to unfold. Continuing on the Brian Weber machine right now. Savali in for service as well. Also Brian Lofton. They're going to work on that car, as well as Dennis Holdren, who has stopped a couple of times so far tonight, trying to take advantage of this caution that came out with just 20 laps to go. Prior to the yellow flag, Bobby Labonte and Burt Myers were the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack. They're going to restart here potentially 4th and 5th. Again, that of course subject to change when the Citrus Safe Juice Cone is placed on the main straightaway. We re-rack the field and try to get them back out. Still working on Dennis Holdren's vehicle down in turn 4, while Gerstner will lead the field back around, and we are at least going to be 3 laps away from getting this race back underway. We mentioned earlier that Bobby Labonte took home the Jerry Hunt Supercenter stage win. Let's give them a shout out for all they do for the Smart Modified Tour. If you're looking for a premier North Carolina dealer with a huge selection of used and certified vehicles, you need to check out Jerry Hunt Supercenter. Visit them online at jerryhuntsupercenter.com or stop by their Greensboro dealership located in Lexington, North Carolina. That's Jerry Hunt Supercenter. We buy more, we sell more, you save more. Citrus Safe Chews Cone now placed on the main straightaway, and this may be one of the most important restarts for some of these drivers' seasons, as many of them are vying for victory lane for the first time, including that of your top three. Jeremy Gerstner is going to be the first one to get there. We saw Jonathan Brown give him a fight on the outside lane the last time through. What's it going to be? And they both elect the bottom. So it's going to be Gerstner and Brown on the inside. Brandon Ward and Bobby Labonte to the outside. Things starting to shake up here in the latter stages of this one as we're 20 laps away from seeing who takes home the victory here at Carteret County Speedway. Keep in mind the top three have not won yet this season. Bobby Labonte trying to become the first repeat winner in 2021. He's got a shot to do it. Oh, by the way, the two running behind him, Bert and Jason Myers, they too have yet to find victory lane in the Smart Modified Tour in 2021. One lap away from getting this race restarted. Gerstner and the family-owned and operated entry trying to take that Smarty Trophy all the way back to Wesley Chapel, Florida, but he's got a very hungry and fast Brandon Ward. The driver set the quick time in qualifying, won the Precision-Built Spindle Quick Time Award, and he's going to restart alongside of Gerstner on the outside. The Smart Chevrolet Pace Truck is off into the Fathead restart zone. We go. We're back on the way. Ward trying to make that top side work. He's got a great run off of two, but Gerstner's got an edge in three. Wheel to wheel for the race lead as they come out of four. Three wide to the middle comes Labonte. What a move by Bobby Labonte. He's up to second. Ward got shuffled up into the dirty stuff and fell out of the top five. Now with 18 laps to go, what can Labonte do with Gerstner? Has a peek to the inside. He'll drop back in line. Jonathan Brown coming up here in third spot, trying to make it a three-car race in the front of the field. On a track that has been tough to pass all night long, Bobby Labonte is trying to get the job done for the most important spot, the front. Gerstner fends him off. Down the back straightaway they come. Savali's going to come back to the pit lane under green. It looks as though his night may be coming to a premature close. Gerstner still leads. Bert Myers has gotten himself up to fourth, while John Smith rides in fifth position. Brandon Ward has fallen back to sixth. Gerstner, who finished second here in a 6:02 crate race not that long ago, trying to use that experience to his advantage. These drivers all have a lot of respect for one another, and you can tell by the way in which Labonte is trying to get up to and past Gerstner for the race lead. These two were in the top three in qualifying. Gerstner, though, driving what may be the most important final few laps of his life. Labonte able to hold the car down just a little bit lower, and he's got to run inside for the race lead. Gerstner runs wide. Labonte back to the power, side by side at the line. And Bobby Labonte is out in front with 11 laps to go. Ten to go, and they hit the stripe. And Labonte has made the move. Further back. Brian Lofton having to go of it with Jason Myers in a race for 7th, but Labonte is trying to set sail. Gerster, though, not letting him run and hide. He's staying right with Labonte here by about 0.4 of a second. Labonte, Gerster, your top 2 with 7 laps to go when they hit the stripe. Jonathan Brown back in 3rd. Burt Myers running in 4th. Brandon Ward, your top 5. John Smith running in 6th. Now what he hopes will be a night where he can take sole possession of the championship points lead. Trouble! Got a car around! And that's Burt Myers in turns 3 and 4. Myers spins. Burt Myers was racing with Brandon Ward for what was the 4th spot. And when I looked up there in turn 3, Myers was the car facing the wrong way. Myers and Brandon Ward, not sure if there was contact. We may find out here soon enough. Watching Burt Myers as Brandon Ward comes up to the outside here, and he is not happy. Myers and Ward having a bit of a tussle there in turn 2. Keep in mind, these two have a bit of a history that dates back to the season finale at Bowman Gray Stadium, and it appears as though this hard racing has continued between these two, and Myers is expressing his displeasure on the backstretch. Those two have evidently come to a stop on the far side of the track, just out of my vantage point. As a matter of fact, from the announcing tower, the field has kind of come to a halt there on the back straightaway. Brian Lofton got up and around that scuffle. The pay window is about to open and tempers are running hot here in a Smart Chevrolet 99. Burt Myers and Brandon Ward bringing out the most recent caution and forcing Bobby Labonte to have to endure a restart. Heartbreaker on the night for James Savali. He was involved in a couple of spins, brought that car down the pit lane under green. Looks as though he is done for the night. After Savali came into this race, running 9th in points, he's been trying to run all the races. However, he is not going to be able to finish this one out as we watch Burt Myers fall to the tail end of the pack in what is yet another devastating night for Burt Myers and that team. Clearly had one of the fastest cars a week ago at Dillon, was swept up in a crash while trying to work his way back through the field. That incident took out Daniel Yates, also collected Jimmy Wallace. And Dennis Holdren sustained some damage in the 4-car contact as well. And it forced the entire camp to kind of switch gears as far as what weapon they were bringing to the racetrack. This is a car we have not seen Burt Myers run the last couple of races. And it looked as though it was serving him well in a top 3 spot until he and Brandon Ward got together. Dennis Holdren's going to come down for a stop. We've seen that car on the pit lane many a times tonight. Pretty much every yellow flag has been an opportunity for Holdren to come down for service as the citrus-shaped juice cone is going to make its way onto the main straightaway once more. And we're about to see what these drivers will decide as far as their fate for this restart. They'll be coming up here with 7 laps to go. Chris Honeycutt, one of the hard-working Smart Modified officials, rolls that head truck out onto the front straightaway. We've seen the leaders select the bottom pretty much each and every restart. Labonte's going to get first dibs on this one. What is he going to choose, and what will Gerster do? Labonte inside, Gerster to the top. Jonathan Brown 3rd, Brandon Ward 4th. And John Smith is now up in the top 5. He's going to restart there in 5th. Coming into this race, Jeremy Gerstner was one of the drivers who was very vocal about perhaps adding some traction compound to the second lane here. That was by virtue of his experience of running and finishing second in a 602 crate race that happened here not that long ago. He was one of the first cars to test it out in turn one in practice. It did not end up the way in which you would have hoped for. In fact, that team had to do some repairs to get it righted, but he came out in a blistering lap time in qualifying, slotted himself third in the running order. The redraw put him back to sixth in the green flag. And the driver who we met last week, crew chief, owner, operator for the GMR Racing entry, who comes from a long way to support this series and this style of racing, is now going to line up on the outside of NASCAR Hall of Famer for what we hope to be the final restart with a 7-lap shootout. Bobby Watson's Carteret County Speedway on the eve of its 6th anniversary from opening its doors is about to witness a thriller of a finish for the Smart Modified Tour. 7 laps to settle it. Here we go. Labonte got checked up on the restart. Gerstner powers to the lead on the outside. Labonte slots up in a second. Gerstner to the point. Now can Labonte get him back? There might have been some slight contact between those two on the front stretch. Labonte stalking the low side. Gerstner trying to slam the door shut as Labonte's alongside with 5 to go. Gerstner trying to work the top side. Bobby Labonte down low off a 2. Gerstner holds the lead. Gerstner now using that top side. Labonte can't get. What a thriller. Labonte down low, inside, has the edge on Gerstner as they come to 3. Gerstner fights back. Oh, Labonte at the line with the edge. Bobby Labonte back to the point. Gerstner back to second, trying to get to the back bumper. 2 laps to go. Bobby Labonte, who it took him 6 races in his smart modified slate to go to victory lane, is now 1 lap away from going back to back. Gerstner trying to get to him, but he falls back a little bit off turn 2. Through the final corner, the first repeat winner of 2021 is Bobby Labonte. He wins the Smart Chevrolet 99 at Carteret County.
Bobby Labonte wins it. Bobby Labonte, Jeremy Gerstner, and Brandon Ward, your top 3. Trackside interviews on the way. Your winner, Smart Modified, here at Bobby Watson's Carteret Speedway, Bobby Labonte. Bobby took the lead with about 3 to go and was able to hold off the 55. Great racing. Let's hear it for him. Fantastic racing. We will go trackside and hear from our top 3 finishers.
Thank you so much, and he's ready to get out of this car. How about that finish for Bobby Labonte, your winner for the 2nd week in a row in a Smart Modified Tour. Bobby was hyped to get out of that car. Still got the helmet and the gloves on. He's going to get himself situated. And Bobby, once you got that helmet off, we want to bring you out in front of this massive crowd, many of which came out here specifically to celebrate you, your decision to support short track racing and this series. And what a job. grabbing a couple selfies with some of the fans. Bobby, of course, spent so much time with the fans here today on the on-track party. Jeremy Gerstner, after hard racing towards the checkered flag, one of the first to come over and congratulate Bobby. And all they could keep saying is that was awesome. Reliving those final few laps, we'll get a chance to hear from Jeremy Gerstner in just a few moments. And I want to try to get in here and get a word with Bobby. We'll talk to Jeremy in a few. This is unbelievable. Bobby, if we can get a word with you, buddy. Second time we get to meet like this. This is getting pretty fun. What about this crowd, though, and what about that race on a track that so many dubbed hard to pass? You went around that car twice for the lead, especially when it counted after that restart. How'd you get that job done?
Well, actually, this is the first time I've Andretti's changed springs, and I think I like these better. So I'll just go with that. But, I mean, you know, obviously it was, you know, I don't know. We had Jeremy was freaking awesome. You know what I mean? He was so fast. And I tried to get underneath him, and we got together a little bit. And then on that restart, he got by me again. So I was like, man, I don't know. That's the hardest. That's pretty hard racing right there. I thought that was pretty cool.
I love the fact that last week when you won, Jeremy was one of the first guys to come over and congratulate you with his fire suit still on. How fitting is it that you two are the ones to settle it, and you guys had that much fun and kept it clean, no less? Is that what the style of racing is all about?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, we got together a little bit, raced hard, and you know, I mean, just he was on me, and obviously racing against Jeremy and Brandon and Bert and all these guys. I mean, you know, we had a good car to start with, and man, I was afraid I was using up too much tire, and then we got behind on a pit stop. It was failure and a mechanical failure, and we got back out there and, you know, made a right move and this and that, and, you know, I was like, well, probably not going to pass anybody because it could be that hard, but I could get a runoff turn too, you know, and if you re-rack this race tomorrow, it could be totally different, you know, but tonight we just had everything going for us, so, yeah, good times.
It's an impressive element about this series and this track. Now, you missed a race for SRX back in July. I know that you're getting pretty good at collecting these Smarty trophies, but too early maybe to start thinking about that championship, or you want to keep going after checkered flags?
You know, we do one race at a time, and that's basically what we should do. But first of all, not first of all, because I probably screwed that up, but I want to thank all the fans for coming out. And obviously this racetrack's really beautiful, and you know, an honor to be here. And they were going to hang out till tomorrow, and, you know, might ride around a little bit more on the racetrack and, you know, walk around a little bit, but, you know, got to thank the fans and all these guys that work on this car. Yeah, our sponsor Cookout. After that, you know, we're just going to celebrate.
Well, it's going to be a party tonight, I'm sure. We're going to bring Chris Williams in here. You're getting pretty good at taking this hardware home, those Smarty trophies. Come on, Chris, we're going to pass out the hardware here. Track owner offer his congratulations as well. How about you, Fed? Round of applause for your winner tonight, Bobby Labonte. Well, Chris Williams offers up that incredible trophy that Bobby Labonte is going to be able to take home. Again, dubbed the Smarty. In fact, Bobby said it emulates an NHRA Wally. It's meant to embody all the characteristics of some of our favorite modified and short track racers. And Bobby, of course, is redefining what it means to be a true racer with all his success. For our friends listening on Speed51.tv, we're going to work our way over here and talk to the driver who came up just one spot short of grabbing top honors tonight. And what a run it was for sure. Jeremy getting congratulations. Jeremy, first off, congratulations, my friend. Great run. We talk about the fact you have the longest haul from any of these teams to come here up from Wesley Chapel, Florida, to go wheel to wheel with a NASCAR Hall of Famer. I know you wanted the victory, but how does it feel after this strong of a run?
I'll tell you, you know, after this morning, guys, we went out first practice and we got in a PJ1 that was fresh. I didn't realize it was that slickly. And I got up because I was trying to run the outside grooving for later, and I took the fence down, ripped the whole right foot suspension. I can't say enough about this crew. They put it all back together. We went out there, qualified third, redrew sixth. We kind of rode the first half, which that's not my style, but at the end, we come in and we got out of the pits first, thanks to my great crew, and we had the lead. Just didn't need that last caution. I don't know what caused it, but if that caution would have come out, I had him covered. But, you know, I even got him on that last restart, but Bobby drove a hell of a race, and those guys got their team figured out. You know, there's cup technology there, and Bobby ain't no slouch. He's a hell of a driver, so, you know, go wheel to wheel with a 2000 champion, NASCAR Cup champion. I think I'm pretty stoked. But I really wanted to get a win for you fans and do a hell of a burnout, but it's coming.
We know it's coming. What a great drive for Jeremy Gerstner, our runner-up here tonight. Jeremy with an incredible run with this family-operated team. Jeremy, great job. We want to get a word with Brandon Ward, but it appears as though that there's a bit of a discussion going on between he and Burt Myers. So we'll turn our attention back upstairs, and we will throw it back up to the track. We still got 2 races left to go for you here at Carteret County, and for those of you watching on Speed 51 TV. We'll throw it back upstairs to the tower.
Thank you. Again, congratulations to Bobby Labonte and all the drivers from the Smart Modifieds. What a show. One more time. Let's give them a round of applause. That was a lot of fun. That's great racing. That's what great short track racing is all about here at Bobby Watson's Carteret Speedway. Drivers, again, if you've already raced, please turn your transponders in. Please make sure you turn your transponders in. Once your race is done, please turn your transponders in. We'd appreciate that very much. Still to come, the mini stocks for 20 laps and the bombers for 20 laps. So we've got more racing. The Bobby Watson Memorial, what a night to remember. Happy Labor Day weekend from all of us at Bobby Watson's Carteret Speedway. Don't forget, our next event is coming up on September the 18th. That is back on Saturday. The Mass Street Stock Series will be here again. Next event, Saturday, September 18th. Anywhere, we've got 2 more races left this evening. And while we've got a couple of minutes, if you want something good to eat, something cold to drink, that can be arranged. So grab something from our concession stands. Thanks to all of our sponsors who have made tonight so special. The Islander Hotel and Resort, Adams Beverage, Solid Rock Carriers, and Moore's Old Time Chicken and Barbecue, just a few of the sponsors that are supporting Bobby Watson's Carteret Speedway. Again, drivers, if you've not already done so, please turn your transponders back in. Drivers, again, please turn your transponders back in.
Race fans on the front stretch, I need y'all to go ahead and let's clear out. Get back up to the grandstand if you would, please. Wow, what a race. I don't know if y'all could hear me or not, but down there, that Bobby Labonte, watching that pit stop and that socket break, that was really no sense in leaving, race fans. We've got a heck of a show still coming up, these mini stocks.